Today I'm going on a hike in search of a certain waterfall I saw on a map. To make my travel easier, I'm limiting my survival gear to nothing more than this knife. Other than that, I have the clothes I'm wearing and my camera and phone to record the adventure. No food, no water, no light, no fire starter, nothing else. In a straight line on a map, the waterfall is 3.5 miles directly west. With all the changes in elevation, twists and turns of the terrain, the real travel distance could be 10 miles. Fortunately, there is no cell phone reception up here, so it's critically important that I remain safe, because there is absolutely no calling for help. It's now about noon. I have about 8 hours of daylight to complete this trip. The sponsor of this video is Bluetti. Most people don't want their outdoor experiences to be a struggle for survival. Bluetti products can turn your outdoor adventures into fun, comfortable, and relaxing times. The Bluetti AC60P is a power station that packs a lot of power in a small space. It weighs just 21 pounds and is slightly larger than a gallon of water. It can power your electronics, run a fan, lights, computer, television, blender, and much more. It's even dust-proof and water-resistant for those less than optimal conditions that often occur when camping. Before you go out into the wilderness, you can turbocharge it in less than 1 hour with the AC connection to a wall outlet. It can also be charged by solar panels, also sold by Bluetti, by connecting to the cigarette lighter of a vehicle, and also by lead-acid battery. The Bluetti AC60P is so simple to use, and it can even be conveniently controlled by remote through the Bluetti app. The LCD display clearly shows how much power is remaining, as well as power usage of connected devices. The Bluetti AC60P is also very useful for other situations where you need a power source far from any outlets, or in the event of power outage, war, or natural disaster. Bluetti offers many different products for most needs and budgets. So watch to the end of this video for a special discount on all the Bluetti products. I put everything away in my tent, and now it's time for this to get real. I have to let you know that I am a little bit nervous about this. I have never visited this waterfall. This is going to be our first time. I don't know how difficult the hike is going to be, so it's going to be interesting because there's nobody here. I'm alone. There's nobody staying at the camp. There's nobody waiting for me. There is no cell phone reception here. It's going to be extremely critically important that I'm careful. Oh, a currant bush. I believe this is called wax currant, and this is the time of year when they would have fruit, but this bush unfortunately doesn't have any fruit. So I'm going to be looking for these. I'm going to be looking for some currant bushes with some ripe fruit that I can eat. I'll be able to get a little bit of nutrition, a little bit of energy from that, as well as water. And then over here, we have yarrow. This is a medicinal plant. I actually have never used it, but I'm familiar with it. I've heard a lot about it, but I know it's very common around here. So I'm going approximately west. The stream runs west from this point. So navigation is going to be very easy. All I have to do is follow the stream down, follow stream back. I'll have a water source. I don't have a filter. I don't have a container to boil water. So I'm going to do the best I can to make sure that the water is safe. Here's another currant bush, and I don't see any fruit. That is not a good sign. There's one here. It's all dried up though. That's no good. Well, I'm next to the creek. This is the creek I'm going to follow all the way down to the waterfall. Got a long way to go. So far the walk's been easy. I'm going to try to keep moving and not stop so much to take photos or take interesting shots of video. I love doing photography and video, and so it can be very difficult for me to resist the temptation to just stop and try to get the perfect shot. Water is such a beautiful thing. Water is life. The water tastes great. I think overall it's probably safe. This is going to be my only water source, this stream. Did you see that? I saw several trout dash across this pool here. The low temperature at night up here at this elevation, which is about 7,000 feet, will probably be about 45 degrees. That's a little cold for this clothing that I'm wearing. Like, I don't see myself getting there and coming back in less than 8 hours. Not when I'm filming. Maybe I could do it if I wasn't stopping to film anything. Oh, it's a big pool. You know, this is an expedition. I'm gonna get to know this creek so well. Ooh, there goes another trout. There's another one over there. Wow, I saw 5 of them already. This creek is just full of trout. Yeah, if I had some fishing gear, that would be that would be really good. Well, this currant bush actually has fruit. Unfortunately, however, the fruit is extremely small. It's about 1/3 of the size that it normally is. These are tiny little fruits. Probably because there wasn't very much rain this past season. But at least it has some fruit and I can eat it. It'll give me some calories, a little bit of energy. It's better than nothing. Today I really can't spend much time looking for food. If it's easy to get, like picking berries, great, I'll do it. But I got to get to that waterfall. That is my goal, so I need to just trudge on. I'm going to move a little faster to try to make up some lost time for when I stop to film. Yeah, keep moving, keep moving. Try not to talk much. It's best to not talk because it'll dehydrate you quicker if you have your mouth open. But how am I going to tell you about everything that I'm seeing and doing if I don't talk? That's my dilemma. I will sacrifice my well-being for you. Look at this landscape. This ain't Kansas. See what I have to go through to get these kind of shots? All right, I'm walking. Woo! And now I gotta go back and get the camera. This is ridiculous. Who would do this? Who in their right mind would film this way? This part is getting kind of steep. It looks easier on the other side of the river though. If I jump across the creek, looks like there's more flat ground. Okay. It's an easy crossing right here. Take advantage of this opportunity to drink some water. Oh, it's so refreshing. This water is very cold. Oh, it tastes so good. Oh, that's so refreshing. My throat was already getting dry. Oh, this is a beautiful little pool. Well, that was really refreshing. And then look, I found more food. This is California rose. And they have these little fruits that are edible when they turn red. Unfortunately, they're still green. And they're also very, very small this year. This will not be a food source for me. Oh, and then, oh, I just found something else. A medicinal plant. This is California mugwort. It's used medicinally. If you take a tea of California mugwort before you go to sleep, it's supposed to give you very vivid dreams. I tried it once, nothing happened, but that's what I heard. As you can see, it's a lot easier to walk on this side of the creek than that side. We'll see how long I can stay on this side. I'm sure at some point it's going to get crazy rugged again. Well, I spoke too soon. It's already super rugged and steep again, and it's the same on the other side as well. Oh. Yes. More currants. They're not bad. Let's eat them all before the bears get them. Speaking of bears, potential dangers out here: black bears, mountain lions, the California gray wolf. When I get lower in elevation, then rattlesnakes may be present. All right, that was a good snack. Let's keep going. I don't know for sure, but I think a bear went through here. These look like bear prints. They don't look like human prints because the prints are just like circular, they're round. Whereas a human would have, obviously, has a longer foot. Whew. Let's be careful. Here's an interesting plant. I believe it's called pine drops. And it grows from the root of the pine tree. It's a parasitic plant. Very interesting. I don't remember if it has medicinal uses or not. It might. No currants. I'm getting thirsty. There goes another trout. There's so many fish in here. Oh. That tastes better than any water I have ever purchased. Just can't match the flavor. I know a lot of people that watch YouTube videos will condemn me for drinking water this way. A lot of people say always filter it, always boil it. But look, that's great when you're camping. But in some situations, you may not have optimal choices. So in a survival situation where you don't have a water filter and you do not have a container and you kind of don't have much time, then you're going to do the best you can with what resources are available. I have this pristine stream. Sure, there could be animals upstream that have been pooping in it. There could be people camping upstream that are dumping waste into it. Unlikely, but it's a possibility, right? But if I don't drink water, things are going to go downhill pretty quick. And so I would rather take my chances knowing that my body is quite healthy. What is this plant? The berries look similar to elderberry, but I don't think it is. Oh no. It's kind of milky inside. Interesting. I have no idea what this is. Never seen this plant before. I'm gonna have to research it. I'm not gonna experiment with it. They're not even ripe anyway. I'm just curious to know what they are. Well, this is really getting rugged now. Very, very slow crossing over here. I gotta cross the river again because that side is just like vertical boulders. Getting all tangled up here. Decent place to have a little shelter there. See over there, it's even more rugged. That's why I came this way. Oh wow, look at that rock up there. That is crazy. It's just hanging off the edge there. Oh, I'm sweating more now. I can definitely feel that it's getting warmer, and that's only because I'm going lower in elevation. And so the heat is a little hotter. I want to keep my clothes dry because I still have a long way to go. And oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I should have taken this off earlier. The sun is about almost halfway down. So I've probably got about 4 hours left of daylight. I have no idea how far I am along this course. No clue. I need more currant fruit. And I need more water. I'm very thirsty. I'm definitely gonna have to spend the night out here. All right. See how it goes. Whoa. Lost my grip. Good thing I didn't fall all the way in. Oh man, that would have been bad. Actually, right now I'm starting to feel a little tired, and I am very thirsty. I'm not drinking enough water yet. As you can see, the stream is usually surrounded by a lot of vegetation. Something I've noticed is when I go out in the wilderness without food, the first 2 days are difficult. The body is used to having food regularly. It's holding on to the reserves, and it's just like, hey, it's time for another meal. Come on, waiting for it. Where is it? But after 2 days, it's like the body adjusts and says, okay, all right, well, we're gonna have to start using these reserves. And it's a pretty smooth transition. It's not a big deal. Yes, the reality is that the longer I go without eating, or with eating very small quantities of food, the longer that goes, then the lower my energy levels are. And so I'm just recently, just moments ago, noticed a difference in my energy levels, just a little bit. Also, I'm not finding any more currents. I think I've gone below the elevation limit for them. So I will keep my eyes open for other food sources. Right now I'm in some thick pines, and the stream is over there. It's fairly quiet. I'm drifting away from it because it's just easier to hike through here. Oh, what do we have here? Whoa. This looks like another species of currant. There's not many fruits. Here's one. I've never eaten this kind before. I feel certain that's a currant and that it's safe. Yeah, tastes like a currant. Good. Okay. So, at the higher elevation, I found a different species, which I think is called wax currant. And then I come down to a lower elevation, and it gives way to another species of currant. I wonder how far I've gone down in elevation. I would guess about 1,000 feet, maybe 1,500. Definitely feels warmer down here. All right, good. Another food source. I need that. Now, I'm sure you've always heard to never ever eat something that you cannot positively identify. I've said it myself. I have. But there's always a but. By the way, that would be a kind of a really good shelter right there. I could put some branches, cover this side, crawl in there. Hey, I like that. Wow. All right. Now, just an idea. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yes, I was talking about eating things that you have not identified. Bad idea. I agree. However, what if you're in a survival situation? What if you're like me right now? You're in the middle of a forest, you have no cell phone reception, you cannot order takeout, you have no water, you made a mistake. You made a tactical error by going on a hike. You underestimated the difficulty of the hike and the time it would take, and you find yourself out there in the middle of the wilderness. You don't have enough time to get back to your camp before dark, and you really want to go see this waterfall. It's like, man, I'm halfway there, man. I don't want to turn back now anyway. And then, okay, so what do you do? No water, no food. Well, here's the thing. You can do something called the universal edibility test. Now, I've never done the universal edibility test the way that it is recommended, which is to take a small sample, rub it on a sensitive part of your skin, like your wrist, see if there's a reaction. You have to wait. The problem with the test is it takes days to test something. So you don't always have that much time. So I often will eat a small amount of something. And okay, now this can backfire on you. It can. So you need to consider your health, your immune system, the strength of your immune system, your gut flora. I think the gut flora is the main determining factor to how much toxins you can endure. And so if you're a very healthy person and you put in a couple poisonous berries in you, you might feel something. You might get a little diarrhea. You might not feel great, but it's probably not going to kill you. And so that's what I'm talking about. So I think those plants were currant bushes. They certainly look like currants. I'm betting on that. And I ate 4 small berries. And we'll see how I feel. And if I don't notice anything by tomorrow, then I'm like, good, I'll eat more tomorrow. And I've done that with some plants before. It's a very important topic, and it's a topic that a lot of people get upset about when they see me doing what I just did, because I'm setting a bad example. But I want you to realize that it depends on the situation. There's so many factors involved. I have eaten the fruit of the most poisonous tree in the world before. It was only a tiny bit. I got mildly ill. A friend of mine ate the same amount, and he got very ill. So that's called manchineel tree. In Spanish it's called little apple of death. So it's a very poisonous tree, not good to eat. It tastes great, but highly toxic. So that was an interesting observation to see how little it affected me and how greatly it affected my friend, who was not nearly as healthy as me. So that is a very important determining factor that only you can answer. So yes, it is best to not eat anything that you cannot positively identify. However, if you are very healthy and you want to experiment with things you haven't identified yet, because that could be the situation, you know. It's good to know how to do that. If you want to read about it, look up the universal edibility test, learn how to do it. It's simple. It does take a long time though, because you have to go through all these different stages to ensure that it is safe to eat. Okay? So I just want to say that because I know some people are going to be upset. Let's carry on. Whoa, look at that. Elderberries. I love elderberries. They are a treat. These aren't quite ripe yet, a little sour. But that's actually perfect because sour foods help quench your thirst. What a delight. Now, this is another plant that if you read about it, all the literature will tell you, do not eat elderberries raw. Do not eat them raw. They tell you to cook them, strain out the seeds, and then they're edible. Because apparently they contain cyanide. So, I don't know. I've eaten handfuls of elderberries raw many times. Never had a problem, so I don't really know, okay? And I know someone else who has eaten lots of elderberries by the handfuls and did not have a problem. So, I feel fine. I feel totally safe eating these. This is a real treat. The best way to make elderberries, this is what I like to do. It is so good. Collect a whole bunch of elderberries and then smash them up, get all the juice out, and put the whole thing into a pot and just simmer it on a low heat for about half an hour. Then strain it so you just have the juice. Squeeze all that juice out, and you're leaving behind the seeds and the stems and the skins. And it's gonna be tart. Like it's a tart fruit. But add maple syrup to it until it sweetens and it becomes like grape juice. It's amazing. And you can make wine out of it, let it ferment, and oh my God. Elderberry is great. I'm gonna be coming back up to these mountains in about a month or 2 months to collect a whole bunch of elderberries because I want to make a lot of juice this year. That was really delicious. So, supposedly toxic to eat raw. I've eaten it raw many times, no problem. And I must say that I feel an increase in energy already just after having a few handfuls of that delicious elderberry fruit. So, again, look, I don't believe everything that I read or that I hear. I'm always willing to put it to the test because I believe there's a lot of inaccurate information out there. But again, if you're concerned, just don't eat it. Just don't do it. Look at all these beautiful ferns. There's more roses here, California rose. And, oh, here's a fruit, rose hip. Not quite ripe though. It's orange. Getting close. Maybe I will find some ripe ones further down. What is this? Here's another fruit that I do not know what it is. I honestly don't believe that this is edible. Something tells me that it's not. Not just because it's red, but let's see. It doesn't smell. Has a very large seed, hardly any pulp anyways. I'm going to try to identify it later when I get back. But I'm not going to even test this one. That's pretty thick. Since I haven't consumed enough water, my lips are getting very dry, starting to get chapped. This sticky pine sap is good for treating wounds. It really helps good as a lip balm. It protects the lips quite well. This is some really sweet smelling sap too. This is nature's lip balm. I'll just chew on that sap. It has a pleasant flavor. A lot of saps taste really bitter, but this one has kind of like, oh my god, this is the vanilla tree. Now, I don't know the actual name, the proper name of this tree. This is a pine tree though, and when you put your nose to the bark, it smells like vanilla. It's sweet smelling, it smells wonderful, and this is it, and I'm eating the sap. 30 feet more, and I come across another currant bush, and this is the wax currant that grows in the higher elevations. That's kind of nice with the pine sap. Oh, heck yeah, this is great. And these are nice and ripe. Tasty, sweet. I love it. Good food. I've got to drink some more water. I'm very thirsty. The last time I drank water is over an hour ago. Starting to cool down a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the waterfall before dark. Alright, keep going. I gotta plow through these branches. I thought I would have been at the waterfall by now, and I really have no idea how much further it is. The sun is going to be setting in about an hour and a half, and I'm moving at a snail's pace through this vegetation and thorny brush. Wow, look at that. And that is some mountain there. And there's a series of waterfalls down here, falling into individual pools. What a nice place to go swimming. These pools are pretty deep, 3 or 4 feet deep. The rocks outside are quite slippery, so I have to be very careful. I have to avoid injury. That's a very important task when you're alone in the wilderness. Do not get hurt. Okay, I made it. I gotta get across to the other side. I think I'm pretty close to the waterfall now. Oh, whoa. Dang it. I didn't want to get my feet wet. Darn it. I gotta try a different way. This is just too slippery. It's just not worth the risk. Like if I fall in and my camera gets wet, then it's dead. It's gone. I can jump across this. I didn't see this before. This will be an easy jump. All right, that was good. I can't believe I didn't see that before. It's right there. So easy. All right, now I can continue along this side and get around. At least I hope I'll be able to get around. We'll see. I have a feeling that I'm close to the waterfall. Through these dead branches. I bet the waterfall is right in the middle, at the bottom of that V. The fact that this is the most difficult part of the entire journey tells me that I am approaching the waterfall. Isn't that how it is in all those action adventure video games? Like when you're getting close to the end, you have to face this dragon, right? It's like I'm facing the dragon right now, and he doesn't want me to get there. The sun is going down, and the dragon knows if he can stall me enough, I won't make it. Wow. That's gotta be it there. All right, let's finish. Top of the falls. But what I do want to do is I want to get to the bottom of the falls. And that's going to be a very rugged hike. And I've got about 1 hour of daylight, and then it's going to start getting dark. Better hurry. It's pretty steep, but it's not difficult. It's just like going up the stairs. A lot of mosquitoes. in this area. Acorns. They're green, not ripe yet. Harvest time will be in about 2 months for acorns. Alright, hold on tight. Good grip, good grip. Here we go. Yep. This looks dangerously steep and rugged. Oh my god. But look at that view. This is so beautiful. Oh man. But that looks extremely rugged. I don't know if I could get down there. Well, only one way to find out. Only one way. I have to try. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but it's possible. I just hope I can do this before dark. I still have to make a shelter. Wow, this is going to be interesting. And I have to get down to the stream so I can get more water. Hope for the best, I guess. Ugh. This is why they invented trails. But no, there is no trail here. There's no one coming to save me. It's just me and God. Oh God, have mercy, please. This is very loose ground. Just sliding down. Slide down the hill. That's not bad. But I'll have to come up this way tomorrow. And that might be a little difficult. Right into an oak tree. Well, that's kind of fun. All right. I'm a little concerned now because I don't even hear the waterfall. This little canyon is going to take me way further down than I want to go. And I don't have much daylight left because I need to get some water from the stream. So I need to get to the stream. So I'm going to kind of start cutting towards the north. And hopefully I'll be able to get to the stream. It may be surrounded by vertical walls that I will not be able to get around. Now I have a view of where I'm going. It's extremely rugged. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to the waterfall actually. Maybe I'll be able to get a glimpse of it. I'm probably about halfway down that mountain. The sun's about to set in about 15 minutes. So I've got to keep moving. There's a cave over here. That'd be a good shelter. It's too far from the stream. Here's a current situation report. This way of getting down took me far off course, at least farther than I expected. But I can see where the stream is, and I've got at least a mile to go, maybe more, I don't know. Sun is set, so I probably have about 30 minutes of daylight before it's pretty dark. And so yeah, I just have to keep on going. I'm hoping that the stream is actually going through here. I really shouldn't be stopping to film this, but I'm hungry, and this is an important food plant. This is chia. It produces chia seed. All I do is tip over the dry flower heads and the seeds fall out. It's very similar to the chia seed that you can buy in the supermarkets. It's very nutritious, high in protein, omega-3 fatty acids, and lots of vitamins. There's a lot of it growing around here. I just don't have the time to collect it. I gotta get down to that stream.
My throat's so dry. It makes it difficult to eat this even. I gotta keep going.
After I left the top of the waterfall, water became my #1 priority. I passed several places where I could have made a good shelter, but I was so thirsty I couldn't imagine spending the night without any water. Oh, great. Just slid down this hill. This whole side is poison oak. I hope I didn't get any on me yet. Poison oak causes a terrible rash, an incredible itch. Oh my god. There's a few more of it down here. Well, this is, yep, that's poison oak. Went through the stems. Okay, well. Poison oak generally grows in shady areas. Ouch, that hurt. So out in the sun, I'm pretty safe. Oh, look, we have yucca growing here. That's lovely. I can make some cordage if I had any time. I still have a long way to go. It's almost dark now. I'm going through kind of a dense area. Some big boulders. There's more poison oak. Lovely. Oh, man. Alright, let's go a different way. But I have some good news. I was saying that I have to go like over a mile to get to the river. I mean to the stream. The canyon that's closer is actually where I have to go. I can hear water there. Can you hear it? It's very close. This is really rugged terrain. This is rough. It's much harder in the dark. I gotta turn the camera off. I gotta avoid the shady areas. The shady areas are the easy areas, but that's where the poison oak grows. You see? See what happens when I start filming? My little adventure turns into a real survival situation. I am out here in the middle of this wilderness with just a knife. And it's dark, no time to build a shelter. You can't see me right now. I'm just gonna give you an update. There's not enough light for me to be able to set up a shelter. I am camped on top of a giant boulder that's next to a small waterfall. The terrain here is extremely rugged and steep, about an average of 45 or 40 degrees incline. Lots of boulders, dead trees, poison oak, lots of stuff to really make this journey difficult. I drank quite a bit of water from the waterfall. I was so thirsty. So I'm going to try to avoid having any more water during the night. It's difficult to get there. Like I have to climb over these boulders and hang, and it's hard, especially in the dark, and I definitely don't want to do that when I'm like 2 in the morning and I wake up and I'm groggy. Very, very dangerous. So I want to stay right here on this rock. It's a little breezy. I don't like that. I hope the breeze will stop, but it'll likely go through the night, and that may prevent me from sleeping at all. But nonetheless, I'll try to rest my body as much as possible. I have no cushion, no pillow, nothing. Didn't have time to make anything. So it's going to be a rough night. I'm just going to do my best to get through it. According to the position of the moon, it's probably about 2 in the morning. It's been a really rough night. Very cold. As soon as it got dark, the wind started blowing really strong. The temperatures dropped, the wind chill. It's probably about 50 degrees, but then it has a wind chill factor. So I've been shivering all night. I've managed to find a semi-comfortable position using one of my shoes as a pillow and the other shoe to rest my ankle on. So my shoes help in that respect significantly. I'm utilizing whatever I have available right now. I made a big mistake yesterday by coming down here. I guess that's what this whole point of this video was to have a survival situation. And in a true survival situation, there are some elements of unpreparedness. And that's exactly what happened here. I underestimated the distance, I underestimated the terrain, I underestimated the time that it would take to travel. So I'm spending a sleepless night in the cold on top of a boulder next to a stream with waterfalls. And so my plan is in the morning, I'm gonna fill up on water, and then I assume it's gonna be about a 3-hour hike to get back up to the top of the waterfall. I'm gonna be going uphill, upstream. It's gonna require more energy, more effort. Well, I have 4 more hours to wait, so I'm gonna curl up on this rock again and try to protect myself as much as possible from the wind and try to stay as warm as possible. Good night. Morning. It's been windy like this all night. It's very cold. I did not sleep at all. I just want to get out of here. This is what I gotta do just to go get some water. And now that it's daylight, I see a really good place I could have spent the night where I would have been protected from the wind. I would have slept there. That would have been perfect. But I had no idea because it was dark. Wow. There's so much room in here. It's warm in here too. Well, look what we have here. Another edible plant. It's called coffee berry. This one's ripe. You have to be careful how many you eat. It's a really good laxative. And so I won't eat more than like 3 at a time, or else I'll have diarrhea. There's a lot of green ones. Most of these will start ripening in about a month. It's a beautiful place. The waterfall is way up there somewhere. I really would love to see it, but I don't want to spend too much time trying. This area down here is really wild. So rugged, and there's so much poison oak. Look at that. Poison oak. Climb up through here, find my way out over these boulders and out of the shade of the trees. The shade of the trees just hosts so much poison oak. You really don't want to have poison oak. It's a terrible skin irritation, and it will drive you mad with an itch that will last 1 to 2 weeks. Avoid it at all costs. There's a lot I have to be careful of out here. Not just the poison oak, but also I need to keep my eyes peeled for rattlesnakes. They're out here. I haven't seen one yet, but it could be very likely. And now I need to maneuver carefully over this poison oak. Avoid touching it. I think I did it. Okay, wow. That could be a shelter. It's very unfortunate that I did not find a decent place to spend the night. I feel tired. So I have to be extra careful today. I have to be aware of the fact that I will not be functioning at 100% today. I've eaten very little and I slept none. So I have to take that into consideration. Be very careful how I calculate my steps. I have to avoid injury. My body may be weaker and more susceptible to injury now. So I have to keep all that in consideration. I feel a little dizzy. I actually feel very dizzy. It's due to the lack of sleep. I've experienced that before. And this is so steep. I may have traveled a quarter mile so far. A couple more miles to go. Just take it slow, nice and easy. I had to stop to rest. Feeling really thirsty again. The waterfall is right there in that little dip between those two massive rock walls. I definitely feel very dizzy. I'm assuming the fact that I was shivering throughout the entire night really burned a lot of energy, a lot of calories. My body's trying to keep warm. Now I'm paying for that. I'm paying for the fact that I didn't get down to the stream at a decent time. All I needed was just a few minutes to find that little cave, and then I could have had a nice, restful night. Here I'm in the belly of the wilderness. I look like a blue jay. I'm going to make an attempt to get a view of the waterfall. I'm coming over the top of the ridge here, and if I'm lucky, I may be able to see it. I can see it! I'm not going to try to get any closer to it. I don't have the best vantage point. It would be better if I was on that side of the stream. But that side of the mountain is way more rugged. This is some rugged country. My throat's very dry. So I am going to enact a new rule. I am not going to talk. I'm going to keep my mouth closed until I get to the top of the waterfall and get some water in my body. Agreed? All right. Let's go.
down this hill.
Imagine how difficult this would be with 40 pounds of camping gear, food, and water. The price for comfort and convenience is a much more physically demanding hike in this steep, rugged terrain. With simplicity, adaptability is a must.
It's all downhill from here. Just in time. A cramp in my leg right now. Oh, that's a clear sign of dehydration. I was having cramps this morning too. Oh. Ow! Oh. Dehydration is not something to mess with.
I spent the next 3 hours recovering at the stream. I drank water about every 20 minutes to rehydrate my body. I rested quietly while observing the natural beauty all around. I washed my socks and shirt and rested some more. I really needed this time to prepare myself for the rest of the journey.
Let's go.
I feel much better now. I consumed a lot of water, at least a gallon. And I feel that my body's rehydrating, energy levels are coming back. I don't feel dizzy anymore. I spent 3 hours at that pool, drinking water about every 15 minutes. I really needed that recovery at the water. I left my campsite this morning at about 7 a.m. and it took me 5 hours to cross over the ridge and then come down to the stream up above the falls. Oh my gosh, that was way too long. And it was my fault. I did get lost. Part of the problem was I lost my orientation when I went to look for a location where I could see the falls. And I did that, but then from there I just misjudged the distance I needed to go. I was going on some really rough ground, rough terrain, and it took me 5 hours as a result. And so the problem was going up that was extremely difficult. I had to dig my hands into the soil, and very often I slid down. I'd put a step forward and then my foot would slide all the way back. And so it was extremely difficult to climb up that ridge. The dehydration was starting to take a toll. I was getting very weak. I wasn't sure if this was going to work out. But fortunately it did. I said a little prayer. I asked God for strength and direction to indicate which way to go. And so anyways, I made it, and I feel blessed that I did. Now I got to get through this. These currants are my main food source out here. These little currants take some time to collect, but better than nothing. I don't know what kind of plant this is, but I'm looking at the long stems. They're very flexible, like a willow. I want to test it to see if it would be good material for weaving a basket. So there's a simple test you can do to determine if this is a good material for weaving. If you could put it in a circle like this and it doesn't break or snap, then it's good. I'm also going to split it and see if it splits well too. And then I bet if I do some research on this, I'm going to find out that this was used by Native Americans for making baskets. Splits real nice, even. This is what I like. I can wrap it around my hand like that. It doesn't break. It's very strong. Take a few with me I can experiment with later. More elderberries. They are so beautiful. They're like clusters of grapes, tiny little grapes. And they're sour like sour grapes. I remember I reported that I read that these are toxic when they're eaten raw. I ate quite a bit yesterday. I did not notice any kind of issue with them at all. No ailment, no pain, no diarrhea, no vomiting, nothing. In this kind of situation, I want to eat food that I can just grab and go. My goal now is to get back to my camp. I'm not sure if I could do it before dark, but I certainly don't want to get caught in the night. What do we have here? Look at these. These big manzanita apples. Manzanita fruit. Manzanita means little apple in Spanish. And this particular species is very much like a small, tiny apple. A little sour, refreshing on a hot day. Spit out the seeds and just eat the crispy flesh inside. Drops one. Remember this place? I'm back in this beautiful meadow, which means I'm almost back to my camp. I didn't think I'd make it this early, but I walked consistently without hardly stopping. Only stopped a few times more to get some water. Most real-life survival scenarios are just like that. The goal is to get out as quickly and safely as possible. So in my case, I was stuck on that mountain. I had to have water, and there is no other source of water other than the stream. And so what I had to do was get to the stream. Rarely may you find yourself in a survival scenario where you need to plan to stay for a month or more. Let's talk about what I ate. And I've eaten a couple handfuls of berries and probably, maybe at the most, a tablespoon of chia seed. That's it. I've been dehydrated. I haven't even peed since this morning. Wow. So I'm really dehydrated. Even though I stopped to drink water, I did not drink near enough. I lost a lot of water today in those 5 hours in the morning as the sun was coming up and it was getting hot, and I was scrambling up those steep slopes. My lips are really dry, my throat's dry. Look, you're usually not going to be recording video of your survival scenario. Keep that in mind. The fact that I was recording this made the whole experience significantly more difficult. So I started at 7 a.m. and I walked till about noon. That was when I got to the stream above the waterfall. And then about 3:15, I started while hiking again. And now it's about 6:45. So it's about 8.5 hours of hiking on a body that's really depleted of calories and dehydrated and sleep deprived. I shivered, literally, it's not an exaggeration. I shivered the whole night. The wind brought down the temperature. It was really windy. So with all those three elements working against me, I can really understand why I am so weak at this moment. What the heck happened to my tent? Alright, you know what happened? I know what happened. The wind blew. It was so windy last night. I had some of my stuff in here and everything just got blown over. Look, I don't recommend anyone do what I just did. That was dangerous, it was risky, it was reckless. But I really wanted to challenge myself to get to that place and then get back. I am so sore, my body is just so sore from the hiking and of course all the sleep deprivation, food deprivation, dehydration. But really quick, I want to show you, this is the beginning of a basket that's made from those stems that I cut just a little while ago while I was going through the forest. Yeah, they work very good. Very good material for weaving. Alright, so now I have water and I have food. This little Blue Eddy power station is really awesome. It's small and compact, and it's so easy to carry, so easy to take places. It's ideal for tent camping. And it's so good because I can have light at night. I could run a mini fridge on this. I could bring my computer, my laptop, and I can work. I could edit. And it can be charged by solar panels. It can be charged by a vehicle. It's so convenient. I love it. So if you have a need or a use for a power station, check out the Blue Eddy products. I think you'll be impressed. I put a link in the description below. You can just click on that, it'll take you there. And if you get to the Blue Eddy website by some other means, be sure at checkout that you use my promo code. That way you'll get a 5% discount on any of the products you get. I'm going to sleep early. I'm completely destroyed. And also that other cool feature about Blue Eddy is the app. I could be laying down, reading or something, about to go to sleep, and the light's on, right? I'm like, oh, I don't want to get up to turn off the light. No worry, all I have to do is through the app I can turn it off and I don't have to get up. That's such an awesome feature. Good night.